It just,
I think,
to me, there's no consequence.
and I think I mentioned this last time, what we're doing right now doesn't work either. And I think one of the major shifts in education is, and you saw that with the AVID program here tonight. The AVID kids, for example, are kids that struggled in school, and you have to do things differently than we've done it in the past. You have to work with kids differently, you have to communicate with parents differently, and I think that's the attempt we're trying to make with our attendance. The thing you have to understand is that there is no clear and perfect policy here that's going to do all the things that we would like kids and parents and community to do in regard to attendance. It's going to happen with or without your working with them. And our attempt at the high school is to try to come up with a policy and a procedure where we intervene with these kids earlier. We try to do it across. It's not something that just Shelley and I and Ryan would do in the office. It's something the entire staff is committed to, and they're willing to help share in that responsibility to communicate and work with these kids about attendance. And I think that's the shift that we're trying to make. And instead of being punitive, we're trying to work with them, communicate with them, and try to do a better job of trying to figure out how to convince them that school is something that's important. And we need to have you there in order to educate you and work with you.
Mr. Turtle, there is in fact a consequence at a point. Maybe you could just
Absolutely.
speak to that.
The consequence is eventually, if you go through the procedure from top to bottom, as we've stated in the policy, you won't pass. There's a major penalty there.
Yeah, credit can be
eventually
lost
that's-
for tardiness so I think it's unfair to say that this policy no longer has consequences for unexcused tardies. In fact, it's very clear, written in the policy, that there are consequences, and not only that, this new policy makes us more proactive in following up with
And that's what we're
educators.
after.
And so,
Absolutely.
frankly, I think this policy is more proactive in creating consequences than the previous one, which was only passive and didn't contact parents, and consequences only showed up later on a report card. Anybody who works with kids knows that you need to be more proactive than that. And so I think this policy is much more proactive and works with the kids and helps them understand the consequences much sooner than the old one did.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the policy that Mr. Turtle described to us last week gets us ahead of the curve. It's, we're early intervention and a series of graduated steps to try and make the importance of attendance clear to our students. I don't think we're diminishing the impact of that in any way. In fact, I think we're increasing it by getting our regular staff involved, by early intervention, by having a process that you've outlined. I'm
This is another piece to the homeroom argument that
Yes,
we
sir.
brought to you a couple of years ago, and we want to implement that back into the system, and that's part of.
And one of the things that impressed me in your presentation last week is that there are students who are being perhaps unfairly punished by this because of absences that may be beyond their control, that don't get excused by a parent and that sort of thing. So it's not lessening the consequences. I think it's increasing the consequences and increasing the effectiveness of the consequences. So I'm very pleased with this as a step forward.
And it's also a policy the staff is really, it was staff generated. We worked hard to agree how we were going to go about doing this, and there was a lot of buy-in. So the expectation will be up and down the halls from all of us is that we're all going to participate and do the part that we need to do.
And I'll add, based upon to follow up on your point there, it says a lot about your staff, because this policy requires much more effort on your staff's part than the old one. For them to be behind that speaks well of the entire staff at the high school.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Thanks.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, would you please do a roll call on this item?
I'll vote aye. Tom Casper,
Aye.
Yvette Marthaler,
Aye.
Richard Olson,
No.
Jerry Robichaud,
Aye.
and Chairman Ingrid.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, it is 5-1 in favor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We are now on item 10E, to approve the scheduling of a special school board meeting for Thursday, May 30th. Right before the meeting, Superintendent Sesker suggested to me that we may want to consider adding an additional meeting on the 28th, which is the Tuesday, as a work session. I think the idea here is that on the 30th, we would like to act on the add backs. And the concern could be that if we are seeing them for the first time on the 30th and acting them on the 30th, then should any questions arise from this board, there is no time to respond to them and try to make a decision that same night. So to spread the process out just a bit so that should any questions occur on the 28th, that we can then have a couple days to give the staff some time to address those questions and bring in more information that we might need back to us, and then actually take action on the 30th. That was a suggestion made by Superintendent Sesker. Personally, I think that seems like a reasonable idea, and so would suggest a second meeting on May 28th at, we didn't talk about a time, why don't we say 5:30? Or
Like a work session time.
a work session at the
District office.
At the district office. In addition to the meeting that is currently on this, which is Thursday, May 30th, at 5:30 here in City Hall Council Chambers for us to take action on that evening.
It could, I mean, it could be the 29th too. I've just traditionally tried to stay away from Wednesdays, so
Right.
I'm just trying to think of another time that would.
So those are open for discussion, but that was a suggestion made, so.
And I can't be there on the 29th, I have another board meeting in our organization.
Because on the 30th, there's I think you guys have been informed that, in Rochester, we're gonna go through the 2013 education laws.
Yep.
And I wonder if, I'm going to have somebody who wants to ride with me, whatever, but I wonder if maybe the work session might be too premature, you think, after hearing the.
I guess that's a question for Colleen. I don't think any new information will be at that meeting. It will simply be a public forum for him to express that meeting. So the question would be whether or not Colleen will have the information prior to that to do the work she needs to do and to bring that information to the board on the 28th. So that's a question for you, Colleen.
And
Do you feel prepared for the 28th, I think is.
I'll be as prepared as I can be, absolutely.
Right.
I can't control what the department does, in their timetable for putting
But the
together.
meeting on the 30th is not a concern in particular.
It could be, but we'll do the best
No, what
we
I
can.
mean is the presentation on the 30th.
Oh,
by-
absolutely not.
is
no.
not.
That's something they do every year, and it's basically geared for school district personnel to get the updates on the session, so.
The presumption is Colleen will have all the information given at that meeting,
Yeah,
well before that.
yeah, actually, the person who's doing that, they have to have it done before they go out and do this, and they do it at all the co-ops, I believe, and I don't know if the 30th is the first one or not, but, they'll have it done before then.
We're assuming the governor's gonna sign it, the 20th or 21st.
You're supposed to be done on the 20th.
If they go into extended sessions, then we may have to move the 30th meeting too. So it'll goop
Well, extra
everything up.
session, they won't do that.
I don't think that'll happen, so I think we can plan for them to be done by the 20th.
Unless the stadium holds them up again.
That could happen.
Okay, so I made those two suggestions. Any further discussion on whether or not there's other dates that might be preferable, or if those two dates will work as good as anything might?
So the 30th is a special board meeting with the agenda being,
To decide to vote and take action on add-backs to the district based upon the financial information coming from the state. And the 28th meeting's intention is simply to see those numbers for the first time so that we can begin those discussions earlier should questions arise, so.
I will not be there on the 28th.
Right,
say that I'm gonna be gone that entire week, so I'll be gone 28th and the 30th.
And agendas will be out, and questions are certainly welcome at any time to myself and Mr. Sesker, and we'll get as much information as we can for those who are unable to attend.
And
Please.
just a comment, I think there's a critical issue to have 100% of the board available if at all possible, and it sounds like you're gonna have at least 2 people absent. So,
How about the Friday before, is that an option at all for people, like an early morning meeting or something?
We just don't, I just don't,
You know, if you'll be prepared at that
You
point.
don't know what the state,
yeah.
yeah, you know,
I would say if you wanna move it, you'd have to go to that first week in June, and I don't know
Those are the
how that.
options, that's the discussion. If we
I'm
prefer to
watching,
go
I'm looking at Nicole to see how nervous she's getting with ULAs and
Can
and things like that too.
Can
Getting
everybody
close to
be here
crunch
the
time.
30th? No, that's right. Howard can't.
Howard has not been able to make the 30th.
I guess if the rest of the board is appreciative of the fact that you're not gonna have a full quorum there, I guess that's, I'll move forward with those 2 dates.
Can I just, I mean, just for discussions, you mind if I ask the 2 people who really affect quite a bit to see if, does it, well, first of all, would the week of June 3rd work with the board?
I won't be back until the 4th, so.
So the 6th would certainly work for you.
Anytime that week, make myself available.
I think the full board should be there.
How about, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud again, if we kept the board meeting on the 30th, and the special board meeting, the agenda would be to review the add backs and the financial information, that'll give Colleen a couple more days. And then the actual board meeting would be the 6th, then we'd have the entire board on the 6th to act on those pieces.
So the work, will be work
Be
session.
a work session instead of,
Yeah, work session on the 30th.
So the
and then-
30th would be a work session, the special meeting would be either in lieu of the work session on the 6th or in addition to the work session.
I think the 6th would be the regular board meeting, yeah, that would do the
Is
actual.
the 6th the board
The
meeting?
board.
It's a,
The
The
vote.
10th is the work session.
no,
The June work session was scheduled for the 10th.
Right, I'm saying that the 6th would be another special board meeting.
Right.
And the only agenda item on there would be to vote on the add backs. Then you'd have the entire
Right,
board
yeah.
there.
so the 30th would be a work.
Yep.
well, I'm looking at the wrong month. I already have a meeting on the 6th here in my schedule because I was looking at the wrong month. The 6th is a Thursday. I'm sorry, I was looking in the wrong
Yep.
place on my calendar.
The other one would be if Howard's gonna be back the 4th, would be to do it the 5th.
Okay.
I can do it the 4th, on the 4th as well.
Okay, the
Fourth
4th
is
or
a
the 5th.
Tuesday.
Yeah, 4th would be better. It gives us a little more time.
Yeah. I think we should do that, the earliest, the better, if we can make it back that evening.
Mhm.
That works. The 6th works for me, so the current.
No, you said the 6th didn't work for you.
No, I was looking in the wrong place. I'm sorry. Don't,
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Does
Did
the
I?
fourth
Yeah, you
work
said-
for
I'm sorry, I misspoke then. I'm sorry. I was looking at my calendar. The 6th absolutely works for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Does the
I
fourth
did not
work
mean
for
to.
you?
The 4th also works for me.
So,
4th works for me.
4th would actually be better for us,
Yeah.
the sooner.
Well-
I'm looking at Nicole. 4th,
Well, if there's no board meeting by May 31st, to rescind any layoffs, we have to schedule a hearing, so it wouldn't matter when you.
So there's a deadline here,
I
which,
think we
which,
should go to the 30th.
and yeah, and I think that's the key point, and that's the trade-off that we're looking at. So, given that my personal preference is to take action on the 30th, so that we do not miss any deadlines, but that's open for discussion.
but just to make sure we're clear, the deadlines for all the layoffs have been adhered to. So we have no more deadlines to worry about for layoffs. The only deadline that we have left would then be really June 30th, when we wanna check with the higher backs. And then I know there's a hearing that would be in place for one of the ULAs, but that can happen anytime in June.
Our contract, does not have a June 30th deadline, it has a June 1st deadline
For hearing,
for contract. We have to reinstate the contract prior to that in order to not.
oh,
operate.
so that is in there, okay, alright, I misspoke. So then the 30th is important to have.
Is it important?
Well, it is.
Nicole, I'm sorry, would you mind stepping to the mic just in case anybody's at home and
Trying to listen to us.
trying to listen that,
Follow the camera.
If the state would just finish its work by March 1st, we wouldn't be doing that
That's
way,
right.
so.
amen to that.
Okay, so it is important, however, if we're not able to make the May 31st deadline, to rescind any layoffs. We can have the rescind, action take place in June, however, we then would have to, have a hearing, in front of a hearing officer with any, employees who have requested a hearing in a timely fashion.
And how much would that cost money?
It does, yes. How much, I'm not sure.
Do you anticipate that happening?
We have one.
Yes, we have
Well,
had
just
one
have one.
person, yes.
But could there be more after May 31st?
No,
So we'd be obligated for one hearing, to pay for one hearing if we go into June.
correct.
Okay. So that would be the measure.
Okay.
Howard, how do you feel about not being in attendance at that, action item on the 30th?
Oh, I'd be willing to defer to my fellow board members on that. So I have no problem if you wanna go ahead and meet the 30th. You know, I'll probably have my wishes be known, but, yeah.
Well, Jerry, how do you feel?
I can be there on the 30th, I can't be
Oh.
there the Tuesday night, so.
Oh, okay.
So then just going back for that, if we wanted to do a work session, would you be able to make it Wednesday night?
Mhm.
So we
The
could.
29th.
The 29th, if that's an option. It'd be nice to have as many board members as we could to have the discussion at an open work session before the actual board meeting. But again, Howard wouldn't be able to make that one.
Yeah.
That's all right, yeah.
You could call in, Howard.
Or
Skype?
Skype,
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
vote.
So is the 29th, does it have a preference for anyone over the 28th?
Okay, good.
For myself personally, either one works. Jerry, is it a
Either,
preference?
yeah, either of those work for me, so. I mean, the 28th does not, the
The
29th
29th.
and the 29th and 30th work.
That works best for me actually too.
So if we went for the 29th and the 30th, and those are two dates, it gets us all the board members with the exception of Howard. I guess we don't know for sure about Deb.
Right.
We have some advance notice, so I know she
I
knows about
believe
dates.
the 30th was good for her, though.
Okay.
She mentioned
Quite
that
sure
at
this
the
is
work
30th
session.
work for her. Okay. All right, so that seems like that might work the best. Why don't we go ahead, we don't officially need to, but I think it would be good for us to go ahead and take a board action to approve the addition of those two meetings. So I will entertain a motion to approve a school board work session, to reiterate all this, a school board work session to take place on Wednesday, May 29th, 2013, at 5:30 at the school district office. Okay. In addition to a meeting on a school board special meeting on Thursday, May 30th, 2013, at 5:30 here in the City Hall Council chambers. And Kathy, I'm sure you've checked the schedule on that, that's why it's there? Okay. Excellent. Okay.
Then Kathy will send out a notice. Jerry.
Yes.
Yep, that's the same way that we always do, yep. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve those two meetings.
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve meetings on the 28th, or I'm sorry, 29th and the 30th. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. We're getting down to it now. Items 11, other items of information. Student representative is not here tonight. Did we get any items from her?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Item 11B, school board members. Any items of information? Okay, and finally, our superintendent. Item,
Beginning.
Oh, we have graduation coming up in
graduation's coming up soon.
time to, well, to show off because we have one new member here.
It's on the dates to remember.
It's on the dates to remember,
Yeah.
but at the high school at approximately 1:15, 1:30.
Yeah.
And
I'll be the one in the fancy cap and gown.
Blue gowns are not allowed.
Was that? Let you see you stop me. Kathy, I'm sorry, Superintendent Iverson.
That's right.
Let's hear Kathy's report.
That's right. I listen to whatever she says. She
Yeah,
tells me what to do,
promotion
so it
time.
works out just perfect. A couple of things. I have met with Mr. Berge to talk about an Ed Foundation and working with the city's foundation that is already currently incorporated, so we're going to work together to try to come up with something. I was at a Big Nine conference meeting, and as you've heard, Northfield and Red Wing will be now entering the Big Nine to make it
Big
12. Yeah, thank you.
Re-entry.
Yeah, so, right. And I participated in AVID training. Cheryl Curry is a tough teacher, and it was interesting to go through some of those drills that the kids go through. And it gives me a real good hands-on experience of what the AVID program is all about. I also attended the GED graduation, so congratulations to Anne Marie and especially Pat Wiesler with their students that graduated through, and they had their commitments last week. It was a very great experience. It always is when I go over there and see those kids walk across and get their diploma. I was at MASSA training in Rochester. We talked about hiring practices. We had our one of our attorneys from Ratwick, Rozak, presenting down in Rochester, and she talked about the do's and don'ts of hiring and to make sure we do everything legally and we're all in compliance. They also gave a legislative update at that time too, which a lot of that has already changed. And then finally, the native program was approved, the pledges by the board tonight, and unless I hear otherwise, we'll go ahead and proceed to register kids for the native program next fall and start that registration process with those kids to make sure that they are in the right courses and there are not conflicts, and we'll get that process running right now. The intent of this program is to eventually combine and collaborate with South Central College and also or Dakota County Tech College. I do know that the new president at South Central does have some automotive background and some history, and we look forward to working with the two colleges to try to get a permanent solution for our kids. But that's the process we'll start working into right now, and it's great that those kids got those pledges all lined up and ready to go. And the other option I just want to let you know is as a result of the hiring, and this is just one quick example of what the dilemma is going to be for the administration with these add backs. It's nice to add these programs back, but there's a lot of logistics involved when we go back to adding those programs. The adding of the native program will have us open a 1.0 gateway program at the middle school. So after all the different bumping that has occurred, we will end up moving probably a teacher who we had that was originally cut from science that went into the native program as 0.4. He'll move back into science. The two instructors that are at the middle school currently doing industrial tech, one was 0.2, the other was 0.2. They'll both move back to the high school, so it'll be a 0.4 opening. That 0.4 opening will be applied to the gateway program. So now there's a 0.8 opening with the gateway, and I know that Mr. Prigge had a 0.2 out there kind of as a cushion just in case something happened, and here it did, to allow us to open a 1.0 full-time position for that program. So it's a lot of following and trying to backtrack and try to figure out where these pieces are. So, and we'll bring a lot of those things up to the discussion on Wednesday when we have that board work session with regard to some of the bump backs that happen as a result of this. But it's a ton of work to go backwards to, just as much as it was for. So I want people to be aware of the work that's coming up. That's all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sesker. We have a number of dates to remember. On May 29th, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. will be a board work session at the district office. On May 30th at 5:30 will be a special board meeting here at City Hall Council Chambers. On May 31st, 2013, we will have the last day of school for our students. And on June 2nd, 2 p.m. will be graduation of all the graduating seniors from Faribault High School. On June 10th, at 5:30 p.m. will be our regular work session at the district office. And on June 11th, 2013, 4:30 p.m. will be the policy meeting in the district office. June 17th at 7:30 a.m. will be the finance meeting at the district office. On June 24th at 4:45 p.m. will be the curriculum committee meeting at the district office. And finally, on June 24th at 6:30 p.m. will be the regular board meeting right back here at City Hall Council Chambers. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.